Before they were called Unknown Brain, they were actually like just question mark. Like,
great for SEO.
Yeah, it was horrendous. Like, you could not find them anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone, to Full Circle, episode 4. 4 in, 4 down for the count.
I know.
We're back, baby. We're back.
I can't believe we've done 4. I thought we would have quit by now.
I know. And as you can all see, we've got a special guest with us. Sat to our right, our first in-person guest, Mr. Jake himself. Jake, I was about to go then. I was gonna go Jake Tuvali.
Yeah, everyone does that. Bro. Everyone does that because like it's plastered all across my socials. Like my Instagram name
You're
is.
on the mic there. There you go.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Now I can hear you crisp.
Okay. Yeah. So like it's on my socials everywhere, like Tuvali, and I've had people who I've just met be like, "Oh yeah, you're Jake Tuvali, right?" And I'm like, "Well." It kind of sounds cool, so I've kind of just ran with it at this point.
I would not. This is no discredit from your family name.
Oh no,
but
full discredit.
Tuvali, it's a good one, man.
Yeah, actually.
Where did that come from?
Okay, so basically, like, back in like 2016, I was in school still, and I was like doing I did geography for GCSE. That was one of the ones I chose. And basically. I was researching this country, and I was researching a bunch of countries that were going underwater due to like climate change and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the first one that was to go underwater, like completely disappear, was this one called Tuvalu, out in like the Samoan Islands area, and like out by Fiji and stuff. So I was like, I don't know, it just sounded like it had a ring to it. First of all, I was like, that's crazy that like a
whole place,
a whole country with like 12,000 people on it can just disappear like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Tuvalu, that's got like a ring to it. And then I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna change the U to an I, and that was what I did. And
Genius.
Yeah,
mastermind.
Absolute
mastermind.
genius.
Let's before we dive straight into your name, because I realised that's how it goes, man. You see how quick we get into a conversation like that?
True.
We're flying.
Yes.
So Jake, for anyone that doesn't know, artist manager, all-round generally tall bloke.
Very tall.
And us
above
three,
average.
Yeah, above average for sure. Us three, we've actually known, I don't know how long you've known.
I've maybe 6-7 years. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say you do now? Like, I think we can go into like the whole history, but like, who would you say you are? Is it like an artist manager? Or what?
Like right now, I'm an artist manager. Previously, I've had stints at like Universal Music, at a label called Enter Records, A&R. That was my like role. So like, I was an A&R, but I've also done stints in like marketing and just all around like artist development and talent management and stuff like that. There's a bunch of different like names for it that you can call it, but I like just saying A&R because it sounds cool.
You've always kind of like done. Since I've known you, like artist management or like label stuff, like how did we first start talking? And this was 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah. All right. So when I was like 15, 16, I started up a label with a friend, just like not even a friend that I knew, like just a guy on the internet called Illicit. And like back in the day, like this was we just did one release and it did really well. Like, this is back in the days of like SoundCloud, like being the predominant source of like music discovery, you know. So in these kind of days, we had like a lot of house tunes, and we signed one from Ellis.
Oh yeah, that's right. Was that Duck Sauce?
Yeah, Duck Sauce.
Always.
Oh my God.
That is a classic.
That was his first song that I got involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's how you reached out to me. You were like, "Yo, who is this guy?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, I just kind of came across him. Like, he'd only been producing for like a year at that point, not even. And he made a song like Duck Sauce. Obviously, he had the background in like being in a band and stuff like that, but he went into electronic music and he'd only been doing it for like a year. So I was like, I want to sign this guy. And we actually not stole the song, but like he was going to sign it to a Sony sub-label. We were like, trust me, this is the label for you.
Do you know what's funny? I remember with that track, right? So, for people that don't know, it just seems like, for us three, the connective person is that we know Ellis. So yes. I've been Ellis's friend for a long time, like do a bit of writing with him. As Jake said there, like that Duck Sauce signed to the label that you were working on, and then Dan we spoke about before on like episode 2, I think, about the like management. By the way, Charlotte's here. I haven't said hello to you yet.
Yeah.
Charlotte is here. She's even though there's
As
3
usual.
people here, Charlotte's still there as usual behind to offer us any
Fact
input
checking.
that we need. Yeah, so that's really where like our mutual connection comes from, and hence how you're here chatting to us today, aside to other things. But I think when we met, that was definitely for ours as well. Because I remember when I moved to London,
You moved in with him.
yeah, and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you also knew Jay at that point.
Yeah.
And we had like it was around this time of the year, around the Christmas run to like start of the new year.
We were out every
It was
weekend.
Big run. It was like a good 3-month run.
Yeah.
There was that club that was the old train station. Do you know which one? I think it starts with an O or something. Oslo. Yeah.
I went there the other day. I actually did. I went there the other day and I was like, do you know what? This brings back memories.
Yeah, that was
massive
funny.
memories.
It was there that we went, and the Crate Brewery. I remember that with the massive jugs in Hackney.
Yeah, Howlin' Hops.
Yeah. There's some good places around there. Which again, to tie, I mean, not right now, but you literally lived right near there, and Charlotte, you now do, like that whole area.
We're all
I
locals.
Yeah, I honestly miss like you boys being out in Stratford, like that area. I loved. Like anytime I wanted to go pre-drink, like we'd always come to yours because it was just so. Stratford is such a good place to
It's a cool place.
Like I'd say arguably best spot to live in London.
Big statement.
Wow.
Big
Charlotte?
statement.
Well, don't give out my address to everyone on
It's a big place, don't worry. Go on, Dan.
No, I was going to ask, who are you looking after currently, management-wise? Like, what's your sort of current day-to-day? Obviously, we know, but for everyone that doesn't know who you are, it's like just sort of giving a bit of an understanding of who you look after and what you do for them and what it involves.
Cool. So the main one that most people on here will know is Unknown Brain. I've been working with them since like literally day one, since even before Superhero. In fact, funny story about that one. Do you remember I signed that one to my label?
Yeah.
And you guys came in and said like, okay, yeah, like we want to sign this. And then I was like, yeah, it's signed to my label. And then you were like, oh no, can't sign it. And then I was like, no, don't worry, we don't have a contract. Like, but so basically I just like ripped up any contract we had and then signed it to you guys.
No way.
And hundreds of millions of streams later.
Yeah, hundreds
Jesus.
of millions of streams
That
later.
track is still going.
Yeah, it's
nuts.
crazy.
Yeah.
So you were with those boys from right at the start?
Yeah, like even before they were called Unknown Brain.
Oh,
Like
wow.
before
Really?
they were called Unknown Brain, they were actually like just question mark. Like
Great for SEO.
yeah, it was horrendous. Like you could not find them anywhere. So then we were like, right, we got to come up with a new name. So then I think we just kind of came up with Unknown Brain and it just stuck. And I think it was Unknown Brains, but then we were so in the idea of being anonymous that we were like, we'll just call it Unknown Brain so it doesn't seem like it's two people.
They are anonymous, right? They're not public.
No.
Like, is that just an identity thing, or is that something that you kind of came up with?
Yeah, this was in the era of like Marshmallow and stuff like this coming up. So we just kind of jumped on a hype, and it stuck, and it has stuck to this day, and it's just super, like it's really played into the part of the brand and everything like that, and we never really found a reason to like say where like who they actually are, and I think it's better that way, to be honest, because like I said, it just plays into the brand. Like, the music doesn't need a face and stuff like that. Like, music is music. Art is art, No one knows who Banksy looks like,
I think as well, like especially I've noticed this as someone somewhat of a relative a few years ago, like outside of this genre of music and this scene, and now really getting myself like deep into it in the past few years. It's like that feels like you say with Marshmallow, that the hidden imagery and the mystery is a big part of it, especially when you see like a DJ set happening and you don't know who it is DJing. It's just really it draws into the brand.
It really does. And like what I love is like with Marshmallow and stuff, how he's like sometimes he just kind of like he puts Tiesto up on stage and then takes the mask off, and it's like, whoa, Tiesto is Marshmallow revealed. All these like articles come out the next day. Oh my god, Tiesto is Marshmallow. But we kind of went into that realm, and then we stuck with it. couple of years ago, or like maybe even 2 years ago, we were like, well, we want to like, we don't want to be like international. Like we do want to be international, but we also want to have a fan base that's close to home.
That core.
So that was when we decided to say that the guys were German. And since then, I feel like most of their fans know that they're German and stuff like that.
Have you noticed an impact of you saying that in that core fan home base?
Like, because like I'm sure you've seen on the analytics and stuff, like there is so many like German fans that are from their like Spotify and stuff like that. So like, you know, I go on their Instagram DMs sometimes and it's like all German fans just talking in German to them, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like,
but that obviously works. Like it's whether it's that sense of, because I imagine the struggle with a brand that is faced by like anonymous, like the mass.
Yeah.
The hard thing is to get that personable relationship with the fans, and doing something like that, I guess, draws them in.
That was the best thing that I think we could do. Like, because we don't, like, that's the closest thing to a face reveal that we could do. Without doing a face reveal. But,
that's cool. And then, well, actually, you did a nice little segue for me then with the word face, because we got a little email from Pete the other day that reminded me that you reached out and were like, oh, it's a year since Faceless dropped.
When was that? That was 27th of November. So
So yeah, just
like
over
4
a
days
year.
ago.
Was that when the album dropped, or the first single?
No, that was when the album dropped.
Wow.
First single was like September. And we just kind of played it over like a couple of months.
That album.
That was such a good project.
It was a good project. It was a long project.
It was a long project.
That was like, felt like a year and a half.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That was so good though.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of like it was great for Unknown Brain, but I feel like it was a project for you guys as well. As a brand.
We'd never done an album before.
Yeah, exactly. Like an artist album. Like you did compilations and stuff, but then I don't know, it just kind of felt like the right time, right place, you know? Like Unknown Brain hadn't released like a big compilation or album in their like 4 or 5 years of making music at this point, and you guys hadn't either. So when we kind of came up with that idea, it just kind of all fell into place, and like
we did some really cool things with that.
Oh, it was so cool to like once you get over that like kind of contractual, like I'm not gonna swear, contractual. You know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah.
And you get onto the fun like marketing side of it. Oh my god, it's so much fun to like to run a campaign from a creative standpoint. Like you know, putting like when with the Phenomenon, for example, like sticking
Dax.
money into a Dax feature. Like that was so cool. The fact that we did that, like,
I mean, I was a huge fan of Dax at that point as well. So when we were looking for features, and one of them on the list was Dax, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna like DM Dax and like.
Did you DM from the no copyright sound page?
I think I did actually. Or maybe he even DM'd us first from a while ago. There was something there, but
there's a few conversations in DMs with him. To be fair, I think like when it's usually on anniversaries of like album. Yeah.
Who else do you look after? Or work with?
Yeah, so Unknown Brain. I used to work with Baron Gates. That was like my second biggest artist.
Devil.
Like he's done loads on NCS. That was off the back of his old project, Sinner's Heist. So we created Baron Gates and then built it up over the years. But he's based out in LA, and I was based out in Europe. And basically it just didn't really work out time zone wise. Like he was waking up, I was pretty much clocking out for the day, and like it worked for the beginning because like I'm fairly nocturnal. Like
you're a gamer.
Yeah,
you're just a heavy late night owl when it comes to that.
Night guy. But yeah, so like it worked out for a while, but then when I started kind of like pulling it back a little bit and saying like, well, I don't want to be working like at like 3 a.m. and stuff like that. That was when it kind of started. I started not putting in as much work as I could because of the time zone difference and stuff like that.
It just didn't.
It didn't connect as well. And as well, like, you know, he was building a massive US audience. So it was not like I could even schedule calls with people from the US and stuff. Like,
I think it's good, like, collectively, when, especially if you're working on some, whether it's management or just a project together, recognizing that it's probably mutually beneficial for you both.
100%. And like, we ended on insanely good terms. Like, we're still, I was talking to him like today actually, and like, you know, I'm gonna go over to LA and see him in like February and stuff like that.
Dope.
Nice.
So still on very good terms, and like, he's killing it. Like, he's doing such a great job, like, independently, you know, like, he's always been like that. He was always a very independent person, and now he's doing like independent releases where he's just running it through his own distributor and stuff like that, and killing it on streams. So, and you know, that's something that we built up over the past couple of years, and with the help of you guys, of course, as well. And like, now he's able to do that kind of thing. And now, like, he's just doing it on his own. So we parted ways, but
who else?
Yeah, so currently under my management roster, I have McVallas, who is like, maybe some NCS fans know him.
You've been with him for a while, right? I remember when we first met you.
Been with him since like 2017 or 2018. And he had one release on NCS, Left My Heart in Pain. And then we kind of went away from electronic and now he's like one of the biggest TikTokers in Austria. He's running like a vlog squad out in Austria. Like,
that platform it's a madness.
It's crazy. He really kind of like, he was really on it, like, before any other not any other, but like, he saw like a kind of disconnect between TikTok, like musicians getting onto TikTok. So he kind of went into that world, and he started out with English content, but then he realized he learned a lot about the algorithm from doing this kind of stuff in the early days of TikTok. And you know, he realized before I even realized that TikTok is like a localized, like, it's the content is local to your like SIM card pretty much. Like whatever country you get your SIM card in is the country you get.
You're going to get fed that
stuff.
Stuff.
You get fed the content from that country or region. So he noticed that, and he changed from English to German content, because he's from Austria. And now he's doing that, and like, you know, he's writing music in German now.
I've seen
oh, no way.
Axolo, obviously NCS, Tyne. Is it Tyne or Tyne? He's gone all Dutch with all of his content now, and he's absolutely killing it.
Yeah, no, that's like, I was working with him for a while. Not for a while, like, since I would say like maybe early start of this year.
Yeah.
Just on kind of like an advisor level. Like, we never signed a contract or anything, but like, he's one of my bestest friends in the whole wide world, and like, I just wanted to help him grow. So he went from Axolo, and Axolo kind of hit like this dead end. Not dead end, but like, he didn't find the right path in electronic music anymore.
Yeah.
And he had a similar story to what Magnus had. Like, I'll get onto Magnus later, but he found his voice very late on in his career. Like, he was a producer first, and then he found his voice. And he has a great voice. So now he hit this dead end in electronic music, and I was like, why don't you just, you know, start making some Dutch stuff? Like, start singing, become a Dutch artist. Because like, I said something along the lines of, do you want to be like, there's this massive Dutch artist called Sneller, and he just sings in Dutch, and it's like, you know, he has a massive Dutch fan base, and he will kill it in the Netherlands for the rest of his life, but no one outside of the Netherlands knows him. Or do you want to be like a Ed Sheeran, where everyone knows you, but not everyone loves you, you know? Like,
yeah, it's like, I guess it's sort of what we were saying earlier about, like when you said that the Unknown Brain guys like announced, we're German. It's like getting that super core localized fan base.
Exactly. So, and then, you know, it took him a while, but like, he thought about it, and like, he's finally gone out of his way to start doing Dutch stuff now. He hasn't released anything yet, but the stuff I've heard stuff I've heard is crazy. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I have a basic understanding of Dutch, but the stuff that he's singing, like, I don't even. hear, like, I can't translate it because in a song it's even harder to translate. But you know, you can tell when a song is good based off of like the melody, the flow, the structure of the song, like the sounds that are used and everything like that. And he's nailed it.
You know, when you said that you done a bit of sort of in previous jobs, and I guess it just naturally comes with doing artist management of like the A&R role and the listening to tracks, like. In terms of when you're going through music, and maybe if it's, I guess it doesn't it's not naturally like, oh, I'm going to go and sign this person or X, Y, Z. Do you listen for specific things when you're going for a track of like that you can recognise this is someone I want to help out or guide in direction?
I feel like I have, like, I don't have that much musical experience, like musical background.
Yeah.
Like I never, like I produced for a little bit.
I was gonna say, because you DJ a bit.
I used to DJ. I used to produce a little bit, but it was only ever like electronic music. I've never done any like music theory in my life, other than like year 9 music lessons, you know. Yeah. But what was I saying?
I think you were sort of saying you've got quite a good ear.
I feel like I have a musical ear.
I definitely think you do. You know, considering superhero and all sorts of.
But
tracks
when I listen to that song now, I'm like, do you know what?
That absolutely popped off.
And that happens anyway.
Like, right time.
Every time I speak to like artists, if we're doing interviews or anything, like, I think it is just naturally the mindset of like, once something's happened, you're past it. And I was listening to another podcast the other day, and there was a really cool point that they raised that was like, you know, like, say if your biggest artist in the world drop an album, and everyone's like, oh, this isn't like the last thing they dropped. Like, the sound's gone. I think it's like interesting to recognise that the ones that are shifting the culture and the artists that are releasing the songs that we, the consumer, are listening to, they're like 2 years ahead of what the actual sound is. Like, whatever your favourite artist in the world's making now, we're not going to hear for another 2-3 years. Yeah. And by that point, the sound shifted. So I think it's natural that like when artists have these like massive smash hits and like the sake of talking about So Here, it's like you go back to it and then you're like, maybe it's not. But then there's millions of people who are like, this is the best thing I've ever heard.
I kind of want to sort of like, scope backwards again and sort of go like, as an artist manager, who do you look after? Like, who's the sort of full roster? And also, what is artist management? Because I think we've talked about a lot of words like artist management, A&R, and things like that. A lot of the fan base, a lot of the fans or people that are watching in general might not know about. So I think kind of the broadest view of like who you look after and generally what you do.
I do that. I like go off on.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
If there's one place that's good to tangent, it's on a podcast.
This one tangent as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll strip it back. Short story. Unknown Brain, Mike Vallas, Magnus. He also has a project called You and Allison, which is his real name. And that's like his singer-songwriter side. And then I have an artist called Zeli, who is from London, and she's like a very up-and-coming, young, amazing singer, songwriter, producer, everything, creative.
Sick. And then on your day-to-day, like sort of to keep us on that straight and narrow, like what is it that you would do for an artist? Or it's like, so let's imagine that like there's people listening now that are like, oh, I'd love to be like an artist management. Like, what does it take, and what is your day-to-day looking like?
I would say like the main thing is, well, the thing I simplify it with is like everything but the music. But I think that the main thing as an artist manager is to be a mentor, if anything, more than a manager. Because like being a mentor, it's like, mentor sounds better. Like you kind of guide them through things in a way that isn't gonna like negatively impact them.
Yeah.
And, you help them through decisions and stuff like that. That's the main thing. But then obviously there's all the other kind of boring side of it, which is like reviewing contracts and stuff like that. But I would say keeping in touch with every potential like connection you have.
Yeah.
So like offering an outsider's opinion, like a non-biased opinion, is a good one as well. Like, for example, if an artist is about to sign to a record label, offering a point of view which is not biased to the artist or to the label, but more of like a nobody. Just an outsider view. That's a good one as well. And there's I like to be involved with the marketing process on pretty much every track as well. Maybe I don't know if that's what other managers do, to be honest. But I really enjoy that. You know, there's a bunch of things like it's different every genre. Like, you know, with Mike Vallas, you know, I'm focusing right now on finding producers for him and stuff, because he's like focusing a lot on the social media side, because as I said, he's like a massive TikTok star in Austria. So like musically speaking, he doesn't have as much time as he used to. So I'm trying to help find producers and writers and stuff like that.
Is it inevitably so that they can be an artist and make music, and then you can kind of fill the gap of like, oh, you know, I'm going to help on socials. I'm going to put you in touch with the right sort of people. I'm going to guide you. And I think the sort of follow-up question to that is, do you need an artist manager?
I think having a manager is like really important, actually, because like a manager can be everything. Like especially for someone who is like especially for someone who doesn't want to do all the side of like the networking and the like the business side of things. I think having a manager is essentially equal to having like a label behind you. And a manager is only taking, you know, 15-20%, or I don't know, maybe some managers take more, but
naughty.
Yeah, naughty
I think
indeed.
it's as well for the case like of that, not necessarily just if you have a manager, but having somebody else a part of your team means that the brand of Unknown Brain, whilst you've still got maybe not with Brain, I was gonna say the face of the brand, but whilst you have like your artist, as Dan said, it's like that becomes a project in itself. It's multifaceted. It's not just
for
that.
sure. And like there's a reason why, you know, like all these artists like Justin Bieber, they have a manager, they have a tour manager, they have a booking agent, they have a social media manager, they have a brand partnership manager, you know, they have managers for everything. Because like the end goal is to take pressure off of artists so that they only need to focus on the creative side. Do what they do best. Exactly. And I think that's how it should be. Artists should focus on the music and solely the music, and they shouldn't need to worry about all the other nonsense.
Perfect. Talking about artists focusing on the music. I want to get some demos playing.
Oh God! Wait, hold on.
So basically, what we do is I say demos.
You hacked my SoundCloud.
No, not you. So for a bit of context for anyone that this is your first time listening, and for yourself, Jake, as first time on the podcast, we'll go through and we'll listen to some upcoming releases that we've got coming out.
Oh, on NCS?
And
and
give some general vibes. But you can switch into A&R mode on these ones.
Yeah, but don't critique them
just
too
remember
much.
They are signed.
They are signed.
All right, what we got first, Dan?
So we've got a track called Emotions Like by Alva Gracia.
I would say Gracia.
Is this something you do every time?
Yeah. We just leak everything.
Yeah, it's major
leaking. Model.
So what is it like? So when was the last time you shot a podcast? Like 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. So we record them every 2 weeks.
So like these are like different from the ones. Like these are different demos.
No, we go over the same one each time.
That's what I was thinking.
We just play like 30, 10 seconds more,
and then they spice it all up. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Hang on. Let me fast forward.
I'm massively in my house face at the moment.
Yeah,
massively. A full circle.
We need a thing that does that.
Oh, you played me this the other day. I really like the song.
So good, right?
That's a really nice vocal choice, man.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Right, Jake, initial thoughts on that one?
Yeah, tune. I like it. I'm feeling it. Like nothing that's gonna like blow the house world, but like solid, very really solid cool tune.
Yeah, all right, this will blow the house world then. So this is Kato Spiker Topsic Odyssey.
Well pronounced.
That was just a load of random words, wasn't it?
Which one's the artist name?
Kato, Spiker, and Topsic.
Okay. I think I know Spiker.
Oh, that's heavier. It's got printworks written all over it.
Yeah, this is like merging a bunch of old house styles. Like, I'm getting hints of like old Charmy and stuff.
Yeah,
and then like kind of more of a modern, like, sort of techie.
There's that step at the moment, I think, just generally as somebody that has a very, very minute knowledge when it comes to actual music production, but it seems like that the like nostalgia mixed with modern elements is properly in at the moment.
I mean, the perfect example of that is like you look on the charts and you see like Alors on Danse, like the Joel Corey and is it Joel Corey, like the Jax Jones and stuff.
The different version of it.
Yeah, you know the like that like sampling like has been huge in the past like 2 years, you know.
What else we got now?
Last track is I won't play the whole of this one because I really like this one. I don't want it to get leaked. But it's Neoni Levitate.
I love Neoni.
Right?
They are incredible.
This tune's cool.
They deserve everything.
Yeah.
Is it just a solo song from them? Nice.
That's all we're getting.
That song's really cool. Like,
all we're getting.
we had last week or so, we had like a few discussions in the office about like, what can we do with this track? What can we do with it? I remember me and you, Charlotte, we were sat down like we were trying to figure out the first lyric. Do you remember?
Yes.
But like it was like a good amount of time. Can you just
It
sure
sounds,
do like to.
But I think it sounds like short dude, tall dude.
All right.
That's Dan and Jake.
Misread lyrics. New YouTube
is he
series.
the short one?
Yeah.
Jack's the short one.
Yeah.
No, that Levitate Neoni, that's super cool too.
They deserve everything.
No, it doesn't.
It does sound like short dude.
It sure do like to. Sure do like to.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, they're super cool. So few unreleased ones.
They are so they fit the kind of gaming world perfectly. Like this kind of mix between like gaming music and like this sort of electronic scene. Like they do a great job.
I think that's the real crossover.
Sorry, I think we froze them.
Well, if we'll keep going anyway in case the phone's still going. Can you check if the phone's still going? Okay, good, all right. Yeah, just for context for everyone, you're definitely going to see this from the iPhone camera then in that case.
Yeah, and this will be an upgrade.
Yeah, it will be an upgrade. We're trying every episode to make it seem somewhat better, so please tell us if we are doing better each episode. So there's some unreleased ones. Of course, each week we'll be playing some of them, and it is really cool to see when like the audience give feedback on it, and it's like, can't wait for this one
or
to come
tell
out.
us what colour the visualizer should be.
And
then I don't think we're telling Pete, and then
we ignore it.
No.
So we have this whole thing, like the visualizer for any release,
obviously.
and it's like we always talk about it on this podcast, and I literally said to myself before starting this, we're not talking about the visualizer this time. It always loops back around, but
I think that's because like the fans just like love it.
Dude, they love
it.
They
watch it.
Love it.
I can't
they
believe
sit there
people
and
watch
they're
it.
like mesmerized by it.
Yeah. We should make a real one.
I was gonna say this is something that we have not had the idea of doing, but we should. Like next time we do like an event, like real life thing, maybe we could just like properly like cult it up, like dark room, just ambient sound, just a massive
visualizer behind the DJ.
Yeah, everyone's just in like black hoods, just looking
staring at the
like,
visualizer, worshiping.
Starts ascending like.
Yeah, no, it's a definitely key part of the brand. Let's make sure you got we were talking about last time about the donuts and pancakes. Was it you that was saying that?
Yeah.
We were saying, imagine if like an event we got like a I don't know, like had a food truck or an idea, and we just sold like all circle related foods exclusively.
Oh my God.
That's the way to get the brand in.
Do you know what that reminds me of? It's like when like student nights, like student nights, and they have like some like you're in a club and they just have like a popcorn machine.
There was one
out of nowhere.
Night out I went on that had apples.
Yeah, it's so strange.
No clue why they had apples.
And they just hand them out, and like super weird.
Yeah. You mentioned him earlier in terms of like artist management, Magnus.
Yes.
Of course, as well as the Faceless album.
House
with,
Party EP.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the Unknown Brain guys.
I love doing
the
EPs
House
for
Party
you guys.
EP as well.
I love doing mini projects with you boys.
Tell us about how that relationship came together. How you sort of crafted Magnus in his artist career, and then now you say his separate project as a singer-songwriter.
Yeah. So I've been working with, I'm going to call him Ewan because that's his real name, just FYI. I've been working with Ewan since like 2016. Like he was one of the first releases on Tuvali when I switched from Illicit to Tuvali and set up Tuvali record label. Tuvali now is
still doing that now? Is it just the management?
No. So like once I was doing Tuvali all the way up until I started working for Enter Records.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which was the Universal thing.
Yeah.
So I was doing Tuvali, and then I didn't want to like have a kind of conflict of interest.
Yeah, of course.
Like so I dropped Tuvali Records. I can still pick it up if I wanted to.
But he was the first artist that got a track released under that.
One of like I'd say in the first 3 or 4. And he was like completely new to the scene. And yeah, I picked him up and he was doing like this kind of deep house, future house style back in the day. Nothing that he would be proud of now. But like it was what got him kicked off. And then similar to what I was saying about Tyne earlier, Axolo, now Tyne, he found his voice, and like I can't remember how it happened, but like he just kind of discovered it, and I was there to hear it somehow, and I was like, bro, you can sing.
As in like, so he was just a producer, and then he started singing.
Just a producer, and then I was like, bro, you have a voice, like a really good voice. And he was like, he's quite a shy guy, at first anyway, and he didn't want to do anything with the fact that he had a voice. And I was like, dude, you just got to start doing some like covers and stuff like that. Just like put them up online. So he stuck up. I remember he put up, I think, one Jeremy Zucker cover and one 1975 cover. Just like short little 1 minute 30 things on his Magnus Facebook page. And we just shared them across Facebook back when, Facebook and Facebook groups were like the involved in involved. They were like involved in marketing plans and stuff like that. So we just did that, and everyone loved it. Everyone was saying, "Yo, like you got such a good voice," all this kind of stuff. And then like he kind of had a burnout, if I can call it. Just as an oversimplified way, I'll call it a burnout. And he stopped making music for about 1.5 years completely. And during that time, he was just kind of like sound designing and also doing music, like vocal lessons and like helping get more confidence in his voice and stuff. And then he comes back. This was like 2017, by the way. And then sort of early 2019, I didn't work with him. Like we stopped working together for about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And then early 2019, he sent a demo to me. He was like, what do you think about this? I haven't heard from him in 1.5 years at this point. And I was this was in like the peak of working for Enter Records.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, for people that don't know, it was an old label between Universal Music and ESL, which is like a really big gaming tournament provider.
Yeah, I remember. This is when you went abroad to work, right?
Yeah, like I was working in a bunch of different places where they held tournaments.
Oh, cool.
And it was a super successful project. And we had this one big tournament that happened every year called IEM Katowice. Katowice, I think, is the right way to say it, in Poland. And every year, that was like our flagship event. Like it had, over the course of a weekend, it had like 3 times the numbers of the Super Bowl watching it online and stuff. Like sold out 15,000 seat arena, like all this stuff. Like just watching games like CSGO, StarCraft, Fortnite back then and stuff like that,
Bro, that's what. Do you remember when when I first met you? When I first met Jake, like our big thing was
Fortnite
that he always used to be doing Fortnite dances everywhere. How times change.
How
Look at
times
us now,
have
mature
changed.
conversations.
Do you game much anymore?
I game so much.
What games are you into?
Right now, I'm just massively like. I'm gonna be honest. Like my Steam catalog probably has every AAA game in
I've
over
no
the
idea
past.
what that
like,
means. What's a
like
AAA
it's
game?
like the top of the top game.
Right.
Like,
And you're deep in the web.
yeah.
So you've got this event on whilst you enter, and then also at the same time, Magnus has sent you through this
sent me
demo.
this like instrumental. And for those that want to listen to what I'm referencing, it's his song called Conquer. And this was one with Neoni. I think Neoni only had like one featuring at this point with like Rival or someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard them and I was like, these two have the voice to be in like this gaming world.
Yeah.
And I had an A&R meeting with with my team, and I was like, listen, I really want to sign these girls, Neoni. So I reached out to them and they were like, yeah, we'd love to. It sounds great. I sent them over a couple of beats, all in like a sort of gaming feel, you know, like the orchestral, upbeat stuff. And they were like, yeah, we want to work on this Magnus one. And I sent them over some pretty big artists as well, like artists that were like fairly developed and stuff. And they were like, nah, we want to work on this Magnus one. I'm so glad they did, because that song ended up being like the anthem of the soundtrack of the tournament.
Yeah.
And like I said, that was like our flagship event, and that was crazy. So like I started working with Magnus through Enter Records. Like we started signing his catalog, and as he sent me more and more demos, I was like, this guy has leveled up from when he was like when he was before he had the quote unquote burnout. And I was like, do you know what? I want to get back into management with this guy. And he was signed to a different management company, and like we had a bit of a legal battle to kind of loop through. But we got there in the end, and now we're working together, and we have been since like that release of Conquer. And
then we did the Like This EP not too long ago.
House Party EP, yes.
Sorry.
Like This is
Like This
a
is
good
on
one
the House
off
Party.
that EP though.
Was that just for the House Party EP specifically? Was that just the sound he was on at that, and you were like, we can make something out of this?
Well, the thing with the House Party EP was like he produces every single genre under the book. Like he literally can make anything, and he comes from like this kind of bass house background. He doesn't come from it, but he has a strong love for the bass house scene and stuff like that, and also like club scenes and stuff like that. And obviously Magnus is eventually going to go on to be like a DJ and stuff like that, or a performer, you know, because now he's doing vocals and stuff on his own tracks. But the idea was always to have him as the Magnus as a DJ, and basically we were like, we don't really have that many DJ friendly tracks out, and he has this massive collection of bass house tunes, and we were also in the process of like his new style. He's got a track out, his latest track out, Paralyzed. That's his fairly...
Is that on Selected?
Yeah.
I love that track.
Yeah. So that's the one, that's like kind of his style going forward.
Totally different style, but
it's
great.
It is so different, super sonically different, and that's the kind of style we're going with. And we just kind of wanted to wrap up all these bass house tracks so that he had some like harder songs for when he was DJing.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to release them as singles, because then it just kind of looks weird if you're releasing bass house song and then like deep house, tech house song, you know?
Yeah.
So we just thought, like, let's compile them into an EP. I sent them over to you guys, and you were like, yep, love it. Let's do it.
We were going to do an actual house party, weren't we? We were trying to figure that out. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
House party EP at a house party.
Yeah, but this was really just off the back of like
it was
the restrictions.
COVID and whatnot. But
do you know, like the way you're speaking then in terms of we had these songs, we need to figure out a way to put them together, and more of the sense of like you heard his voice, you're like, you need to stop putting these things up on Facebook, etc.
Yeah.
As like a manager for an artist, when you see that potential, does your sort of like logistical brain kick in of like, here's what I see, here's how we can do it? Do you have to really lay that roadmap out for them?
I think that there's so much involved when it comes to thinking about things from a marketing and a brand perspective, that like if you have things all over the place, you can do that, like it's completely fine, but you got to realize how other people look at it, not just like fans, but people in the industry and stuff like that. You know, like everything. I feel like every song, every project needs a story behind it, and if it doesn't have a story behind it, then what is the PR perspective? What is something that the fans can say that they know about the package, or like an EP or something? You know, it's like
creating those eras, right? And I know that there's a big thing. I remember I was again listening to a podcast or watching something. It was saying about if you're an artist, send yourself to a label, like get your like EPK together, get like all your branding and everything, because I guess it is about people not only attached to the music they like, but a recognizable brand, and I feel like I'm part of this, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also relationships as well, like building those relationships. We've mentioned it before, but there's no point just building out an EPK and sending it to a random email address. Really, you need to somehow build a relationship with that person,
for sure.
and them then go, oh, I remember that that dude that sent me an email 7 months ago.
Exactly.
Is there, like, off the back of that, is there any, if you, speaking as people that say there's anyone listening that wants to get the track signed, they're trying to like send things through to labels, what like recommendation would you have of like if you're prepping one of your artists to be like, we're going to pitch this? I guess it's quite specific for each of the artists.
It's very specific. What, like, something that you
just maybe spit in mic.
Yes, my bad.
There you are.
Something that I should make you aware of is that none of my artists are doing the same genre, really. Like, Magnus is doing like house music, and then you and Allison is like on the indie singer-songwriter front. Zeli is the same kind of, but on a smaller scale. And
Unknown Brain is like
Unknown Brain is now like now is kind of like electronic punk rock. Like,
the new one's got definitely like the punk rock element to it.
Yeah, they're really kind of going into this like rock kind of phase, which
there's been a culture shift on that for sure as well. Like,
that was a part of the whole. That was a part of the whole rebrand that we did. You know, around Faceless and stuff like that. You know, it was like we're like maturing. You know, and the way we visualized that was through getting rid of these old paintball masks and like like fully investing in like some crazy new masks which look good on like a live performance. Like I don't know if you've seen the new masks, but they have like the smallest LEDs in possible. Like the whole thing is like an LED screen, and they can play an entire film.
Oh, so it's really, really detailed.
Is it on their socials?
Well, you can see it in press pics and stuff like that, but well, their Rooftop, they did a lyric video for Rooftop, and they played the lyrics off of their mask.
Oh, that's
like they stood there on a rooftop and played the lyrics off their mask.
Mad.
So they can do anything. If you load it into a program, you can literally play an entire film off of it. Like, it
you could just get them to come around to yours, and you do like a gaming night, just looking at their face.
Yeah,
just playing off there. Sorry, just looping back to that question. You say that all your artists that you individually manage, it's such a different story for each of them pitching it. But
super different.
If you could give any bit of advice to an artist trying to present themselves to a label, what would it be?
I would say, like, the main thing for me is that you got to realize that labels go through a lot of demos every day, and they talk to a lot of artists. So the more you put on a plate for them up front, the more likely they are to work with you.
That's a good answer.
You know, like for example, if there's like a song coming out that is super important to you, I would say have the song fully ready, fully mixed, fully mastered. You know, like have like a folder where the lyrics are in place. You have a WAV, you have a MP3, you have everything in place. You have press pics ready. You have a story behind it. You have a PR text and stuff like that. And not every artist can do this, which is why, you know, having a manager is good. But I would also like anything additional to that helps build into the story is so important. Like, for example, with Tyne, I told him 1,000,000 times, like, do not even send out your first track. Like, his first track is going to be crazy. And I was like, don't even send it until you have a music video shot for it.
Wow.
I was like, you need to, like, this needs to be, like, you need everything in place, ready, so that it's like, boom, you're just good to go.
I think that's a good point. Like, obviously, you've worked at a label and worked in that field. Like, I've
Best
noticed.
of both worlds.
Well, yeah, I've noticed now that, like, I'll receive artist demos and I'll go, oh, this is a great track. Then I'll go check out their Instagram.
Yeah,
I'll look if
there's
they've got a
nothing,
TikTok, and then I'll see their YouTube, and I want to see like what is going on, like how many facets are they actually going in, or am I going to have to invest in that myself? You know, how much of a product can we work off?
Yeah,
it's really
and it's not about you being lazy. You know, like from an A&R side, it's not about an A&R being lazy. It's just about knowing who you should put your time into. If an artist puts more time into themselves, then you're more willing to work with them. I remember there was on Enter, there was a guy who like he won a remix competition. His name is One of Six. Rob, if you're watching this one's for you. I'm not sure if he knows this, but basically he's like a fairly small. I'm not going to say fairly small in the grand scheme of things, but like in the world of that we're in, fairly, like, I think he had like 20,000 monthly listeners at this time. And then he sent in a remix and we were like, this remix is good, you know, and he won. And then we started looking into his socials and how he presented everything and how he responded to us. And like after he won, he had like, he made his own visualizers and stuff like that on how he on how he made the remix, and like he posted stuff about how he won, and he sent everything in a really coordinated order to us and was super like on it. And everyone on my team, like these, like I was the only one on my team that was like kind of still in my like teenage phase. Like all of these guys have been working in music for like 10, 15, 20 years, you know, and they were like, the way he presented himself, like we need to sign him. We need to sign him again.
It's like artists that we work with right now, like Halverson.
But
you know,
it's crazy because like they were even saying stuff like, find him songs. Like they were like, find him songs, slap his name on it.
I guess it's like, you know, as a label. Then I mean, Charlotte and myself, like we'll deal with like, well, you'll deal with the content that comes in, then I have to like deal with it after. And like you realise as the label, it's like we always say this when we're chatting, when an artist can deliver you something, and that's not, like you said, it's not to say that everything should 100% be there and it should all be perfectly done, but when there's a clear vision of like, this is what the track is, here's who I'm trying to be, here's what I've got for your photos that you can use. It makes it
so much easier.
It just makes the whole process easier, and then it gives you the more room to, as you touched on earlier, what can we do with this project? How can we be creative? Like,
for sure.
It's super cool.
I've got a question that's going to put you on the spot.
All right. Oh God, here we go.
What's your favourite track that you've been involved with that's been released on NCS?
On NCS?
That you have to put, out of all of the artists that you've worked with that's gone out on NCS, what's your favourite track?
I would say, like, back when Perfect 10 came out, I loved that one.
Okay.
Out of the artists I manage, or like...
Yeah, out of the artists you manage, or the ones that you've worked with, that are part of the NCS sort of...
Yeah. I would say Perfect 10.
Really? Let me play a snippet. Why this track?
This one just hit like an emotional nerve with me. Like, it's not even like the lyrics are relatable to me, but like, I just loved the way that the whole process came about. Like, she recorded this in like 2 hours.
Oh wow!
And sent it over to us,
really?
And we sent it over to you, and you were like, "This is a hit." And like, I feel like if there should be a song that's like, if there should be a song that's like superhero, like streaming numbers wise, it should be that one.
I mean, it's not done bad. 26 million streams on Spotify.
Still good. And I loved, and this was in a time where also you were just doing like the circles and stuff, like the visualizers, and like we did a full lyric video, like animated lyric video and stuff for it. And that was super cool, and I really liked the lyric video. So like back then, I would say that one, and more so recently, I would say one of the singles off of Faceless. So I would.
Which one? So
my personal
So does that mean
favorite,
you don't like Magnus? Is that what you're saying?
No, but there was like that whole project. That was more like, I'd say that was more of a standard approach, like a standard NCS approach. That EP, like we did things kind of a little bit more like how you usually work.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Whereas the Faceless thing
the
was
Faceless
big,
thing was a massive project.
Was that like a checkpoint for you in your like managerial career of being like, oh my gosh, look at what I've been able to be a part of.
Yeah,
and helped craft
look at
for
what
these
we've
artists.
created. Like that was like one of the proudest moments for me, because that was the first album that I'd done, like full album. I felt like I was fairly involved with the creative side as well. But
what was the favorite track from it?
that's the thing. One of the singles, I think, either Dancing on the Moon.
Oh,
That was my favourite.
Yeah, or my favorite is Hollywood Perfect.
Is it?
that
Yeah.
blew
That
up. That
did really well. I wasn't the
Oh,
biggest fan.
Oh, you're a Dance on
Alright,
the Moon fan.
I'm
He's
leaving.
gone.
Dancing
Or
on
Dead. I thought that had like a cool
love
ring
that.
to
That's
it.
cool. So this is Dancing on the Moon. Luke's vocal on this.
That was
is
crazy. Do you remember? Like, we had to really
Yeah.
convince them
Yeah.
to let us sign that one. He had another big offer like on the table for this song, and we managed to get it.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, like his vocal. My favorite one from this is definitely Phenomenon.
Really?
Like, definitely.
I think it's the best produced one.
But then he just like, I drop bombs, and then like it makes a bomb
Bombs.
sound in the.
It's the little things. It
I
really
love
is.
Like the tick tick boom.
Yeah, that's it. Tick
Yeah.
tick boom. Yeah.
So we have a segment that we do before we get to like ending and wrapping things off. We have another segment to do on the podcast where we give a situation and then you have to pick an NCS track to pair with that situation. So for example, we
Any
did
NCS track.
yeah. So for
I'm
example,
gonna
we did
probably
like
use the ones I know best.
yeah, no,
Like,
that's fine. And really, we should have preferenced this before we started, so you
Yeah.
have time to think, but you don't. But we'll go
On the
around
spot.
us
Did you
first.
say
Say
good.
preferenced this.
Preference. Preference this.
I think it does work.
Isn't it prefaced this?
That's what
Yeah.
I meant. Preference.
Yeah.
Well, just thanks,
Are
Dan.
you English?
But yeah, so we did, for example, what song would you have if you were getting ready to do a 100-meter sprint, right? This week, we are doing... Charlotte, you can take this segment, because otherwise I'll say it wrong.
Yeah, go on.
Well, what was it? Was it Call of Duty?
Yeah, it was if you're sitting down for a Call of Duty game in Marathon.
Ooh.
Call
Yeah.
of Duty gaming marathon.
Yeah, so imagine you've locked in, you've gone through
Like-
all of Steam, and now you're back on Warzone. What NCS track would you have if you... Let's say you're dropping in on Warzone. I'm gonna have a think as well. I'm going to try and get some off the top of my head.
I really liked Invisible. Is that the one? Or Invincible? Yeah,
That one.
Invincible or Invisible? Which one is it?
This one.
Yeah, that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's the first one off the top of my head.
You're gonna
if
sit down and listen to that for COD. I'm not
Yeah.
sure it's a COD one.
That would work for COD.
Isn't it going to be more
to be
aggressive?
honest, when I'm gaming, I prefer to listen to a little bit more chiller
Don't
music.
say.
What, like
I thought you
lo-fi
were going to say
beats?
Monster Cat. I thought you were going to go, to be honest, I prefer to listen to Monster Cat.
Yeah, I do. I listen to Monster Cat all the time.
You know what? I actually love some of that music. It's great.
I think that there's no competition even there.
Not at
like
all.
not
No.
at all. I think you're both sonically in your own lanes.
We're
and
best of friends.
Yeah.
So,
What
what tracks are we choosing then?
I'm going to do an Ellis song.
I tell you
It's
what,
only-
I was
you-
actually
You're
out-
doing that just to
oh my
embarrass him, aren't you?
God.
What? No, I'm not doing
I
that.
was
That's embarrassing.
gonna-
Yeah, you are.
I
You're
was
going to say migraine?
well, I wasn't, but now I am.
Because
no.
he hates that.
Put clear my head on, because I imagine myself dropping in.
Oh yeah, that one
out
was
of the-
NCS, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
How is that COD?
Because it is.
I
Imagine.
don't even play COD, but like
Can I have a look on Spotify? Or is it rude to use
Yeah,
my
go
on
phone?
Spotify. No, yeah.
Alright.
Jake, we tried to start episode 1 of this in the most professional way. We got 20 minutes in and realised we can just do. I've been on my phone for all of it. Go to the drop. Go to the drop. So imagine you like.
Charlotte Sands vocal. Is
Yeah,
Oh
actually
my god, I know.
so
Yeah,
good.
she's blowing up
Yeah.
right now. I love it.
TikTok.
Imagine now I've just jumped into the war zone and I'm like going around shooting people. Well, there's mine.
Okay.
I'm just not seeing it, but
There's mine.
there-
Yeah. Is it Charlotte Sands? See the one that's like she's doing the punk rock stuff.
great. Like she
that her?
is.
one of her
she's
TikToks
gonna be
blew up.
huge.
I
Yeah,
swear.
yeah.
Her and like Death by Romy and all these
Oh, I've
like
heard of
yeah, and Death by Romy, Charlotte Sands, Ren for Short, Glaive, Breakance, all these like punk rock pop artists
Yeah,
are
yeah,
gonna blow up. I have this feeling like they'll get like one feature with like Machine Gun Kelly or Youngblood or like Marshmello or someone, and then from there it's
well, I
just...
saw she was listed on like it was the hottest new punk rockers, and the top of the list was MGK. And she was like number 8 or something.
She's on tour with Youngblood.
Yeah.
She is going places, and she was on Faceless as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's your song?
I don't think I've got one. But could you put on Elevate by Fave? I'm not sure what it would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you just said a non-NCS track?
Elevate.
Watch me elevate. Yeah, it is.
Our first Fabian Mazil song, wasn't it?
It is with Arcando.
Yeah.
Arcando.
I'm just going through like the mood angry.
So, people are watching this. You've got to vote for the best one of these.
Yeah.
This is not it, to be honest.
Oh, maybe for like a slow motion.
This is montage music.
Yeah.
Sure. Dan, I think you're gonna have to pull us out the dirt.
I'm gonna
unless
smash
you've got
it.
another one.
Is this
your actual answer?
My actual answer. Go to Todd Helder's page.
Oh.
Todd Helder. What is...
Closer?
I don't
Distod.
have Wi-Fi, so you're gonna have
We've
to
got
show me.
Distod, Closer, or Never Stop.
Which one was a collab?
Distod.
So that's the heavy one.
I think it's.
Oh
not
no!
Distod.
Oh no! Closer was with Guy Arthur as
That's
well.
the one.
There we go.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Right, this is COD.
Yeah.
Can you describe the scene of you playing TDM right now?
Oh my god, TDM.
You don't do that
Just like quick scopes all over the place, left, right, and centre.
This is good. This is pretty good actually. It's the pace of it is better. Dan, what you got? I already know what you're gonna do.
You don't.
It's Coven.
It is Coven. Coven about
never
me.
have I felt this. That would be a good one as well.
No, it's too slow. I did think about that, but I think it's this one.
Yeah, this could work.
Oh, this is pretty good actually.
I feel like no. I know.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. That's how you do. Is that
yeah,
how
I
you do
think
it?
you've
That's how you
got
play the game.
I'm gonna give Dan the win for this one.
Well, we'll do the same
one more.
poll
They
thing,
decide.
but
All right.
Jake, you've got to decide which one's your answer.
Okay. But I'm just trying to visualize it in my head, but I can't. So I need to hear it for me to decide.
All right,
Okay.
what's your third one?
That remix of Cartoon from Andromedic.
Oh, yeah.
Howling.
Howling, that's the one.
Yeah.
That one is
You
a
guys are
tune.
so much better with the names, aren't you? Howling.
I tell you what, if there's one genre that I listen to the most when I'm gaming, it's drum and bass.
Drum and bass,
really?
yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Oh, I think he might have won that.
Right,
I think I prefer yours personally, Dan.
we'll
but
put
Yeah.
again. We'll do the same that we
poll.
did last time. Go on to
I got 50% last time.
really
Did you?
Mhm.
Where is the poll? Where do
on
you
the
put it?
community tab. So go into the
Yeah.
community tab for the
You
for
got
the
like
YouTube channel.
130 votes.
And you can vote on who you thought had the.
I swear you
Who
got to
thought the
let
best
the
one?
guest win, though, right?
Doesn't work like that here.
This is jungle in
No.
here, Jake. It's a jungle in here. Before we wrap things up, I just wanted to get your sort of thoughts on not only the artists that you're managing and
Yes.
what you've got planned for them in the future, if we can expect anything from them, but what you're looking out for. Is there excuse me, any artists that you've got your eye on, any that you, before giving too much
Always,
away?
yeah. I mean, back when I was
Excuse me.
back when I was an A&R, obviously a massive part of it was just talent scouting. So I have my eye on a bunch of people. Do you mean to manage or who I think's gonna blow up?
I think in general, who you think's going to blow up? Who you looking at?
Okay, I mean, I the ones I just said.
Jake's ones to watch.
Ren for short, she's gonna blow up. The thing is I listen to way too many genres to be able to class it. For anyone to know who I'm talking about. There's a guy from South Africa who I really like called Burning Forest Boy. I think.
That's a really cool artist. man.
Yeah, I think he's got so much potential to blow up. It's just when you're from a country like South Africa, it kind of puts you at a disadvantage already, which really sucks. Compared to a US artist.
Yeah, the
know,
reach initially.
Yeah, it really limits you. So I mean,
and then from your artists, I guess, anything that we can expect from the Unknown Brain boys, from Magnus,
Yeah,
from,
I mean,
from the other
Drop
artists
it
you
right
mentioned?
here.
Unknown Brain, they have a new single coming out sometime next year, early.
Ooh.
That's gonna be
scary that you're saying next year and that's in less than a month.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't
Oh
it?
gosh.
That's gonna be like that's their best song. I'll show you it after.
Okay.
It is their best song to date.
Nice.
And it's very it's like everything about it is just so amazing. Yeah, and that one will be crazy good. We're still working with Warner in Germany because, as I said before, we wanted to like make things a little bit more localized.
Yeah, sure.
And bring our fan base a little bit closer to home. And they're doing a really good job with that. You know, like they were even on like Love Island. Their last song, Rooftop, was on like Love Island in Germany and stuff
no
like
way.
that. Like it's just like, yeah, it's super good for things like that. With Magnus, like I don't know what I can say and what I can't say, but like there's like he's working with Selected a lot. Just the main thing to expect out of Magnus is he has pretty much most of his songs have his own voice on from now on, and his
Sick.
voice it just suits like house music so well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the best like house vocalist in the game right now, to be honest.
Wow, that is a
Big statement.
Jesus.
It's a statement,
Okay.
but like there's a lot of people are noticing that as well, and a lot of people are seeing the potential, like, you know, like especially in the Brazilian scene, like all these kind of guys like Vintage Culture, A-Lock, Bashkar.
Sick.
He's working a lot with Fancy Inc., who just had a collab with David Guetta.
Oh, nice.
All the Dutch artists love him. You know, like Mr. Button Weasel, stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, he's got a lot of vocal work, a lot of songs with his vocals on, in a sort of deep tech house style, and he's like a mini Chris Martin. He's so good, and actually
That's such a comparison. Wow.
but like I was in a meeting the other day with someone from Sony, and they literally made that comparison
No
as
way,
well.
that's sick.
Yeah, they were like, in fact, he said tiny Chris Martin. I don't know why he was like, he said tiny Chris Martin, and I was like, okay. And then he was like, oh, I don't know why I said tiny, but like, it suits better than mini. Like,
What about for yourself to sort of wrap things up? Have you got what are your plans for what's for Jake Tuvali for the brand itself? What's that looking
The
like?
brand
for the
that is
the
me.
Next few years.
I'd say like my goal has always been, like, personally, I've had a very weird goal, which is that I want to be on the Forbes 30 under 30.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, like that's just a weirdly specific goal for me. Still got like 9 years. No, sorry, wait. Oh my god, I'm 22 next week.
Oh, bro, I remember when I was joking about you being 18. Scary.
Yeah, I know. So 8 years to get there.
Nice.
Which is all right. I think. I feel like 8 years is enough time.
You can do that.
Yeah, I think so. But that's pretty much the goal. My goal has always been to develop. Like my dream has always been to develop unrecognized artists, or like artists that have talent but aren't recognized yet.
Yeah.
And basically, like all the artists that I've worked with have been from like minute one, you know, like with Unknown Brain, like I said, like we came up with the name together, stuff like that. Like they were doing their own stuff musically before, and then we had them together and making a completely different music to what they used to and stuff like that. And then with Magnus and you and Alison, you know, like that's been since minute one. With Zeli, like she is brand new in the scene. With Mike Vallas, like all these guys, and they are just like my goal has always been to develop them from stage one, you know.
Yeah.
Like I just love that process. I don't like the idea of picking up an artist who's already developed, unless there was, I don't know, maybe I would, but for me, I really like the development stage.
Crafting it together. From the
Yeah,
start.
exactly. I really like being a part of that whole process. And I don't know. That's just like a weirdly specific thing for me, personally.
But it's worked out for you.
Yeah, but you know, it's like, it's so weird because most people would say the opposite, because it's like, if you start managing a project that's already working, then you're going to get paid from minute one, you know? Whereas with like, you know, like with artists that aren't developed, like I don't see money in it yet, you know? Like, it's like an investment. It's like,
you're there because you see the
I see the potential, and then so like I'm investing what into the early stages so that, you know, we can build onto the later stages and stuff like that. And
awesome. Well, I think you're definitely on the right path, and I
hopefully
mean, the artists are evidence of it. We'll whack. What do you want your socials in the descrition? Do you want them in there?
Yeah,
put
sure.
Your
Why
Instagram
not?
If you want.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Make
At
sure
Jake
you
Tuvali.
go and help grow the Tuvali brand. Been a pleasure to chat, bro, as always.
Thank you for having me.
To have you back in London. We'll
episode 8 with me.
Every more. Monthly guest.
Once you're on Forbes at 30 under 30.
Do that first. Thank you again so much, guys, for listening, for watching, for showing the support, and again, comments below on any guests you want us to have on, and the community tab for who had the best song selection of this episode. And we'll see you next step.
It's me.
Peace.